Y'all, in a long line of dumbass movie cops, he truly has got to be just about the absolute dumbest. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel, King Nikki TV. In this video, I will be giving you a spoiler-free review of the new movie, Plane, breaking it down with the good, the bad, and the ugly of the movie, along with my overall score. And at the very end, I will be giving you my spoiler-filled final thoughts. Plane is the new action thriller about a pilot who finds himself caught in a war zone after he is forced to land his commercial aircraft during a terrible storm. Now, let's get right into it, starting with the good. Let's start on a positive note. Every freaking single thing about this is good. For real, y'all. I had too much fun with this movie. I went in expectations of enjoying it, not necessarily high expectations. From the trailer, I expected this to just be a pretty run-of-the-mill, by the numbers, kind of generic action thriller, which I enjoy movies like that, like those just B action thriller. Yeah, this was much more than I thought it would be, and I contribute a lot of that to the director and the cast. I really hate that they gave this movie such a boring name, just a nothing title. It is really a disservice. Plane is surprisingly really freaking intense. They truly squeezed every little bit of intensity that they could out of this generic setup. Plane reminds me of those action movies I would have watched in the 90s. Like if this were 95, I could see Arnold playing like the pilot child. What elevates this for me is the grade A talent in the movie. The entire cast was great. They had great chemistry and played really well off of each other. Everyone was stellar and gave really believable performances in each situation. Definitely really smart casting decisions were made here. Tony Goldwyn was a standout, just a really great character that I feel is easily likable. Tony Goldwyn is one of those actors who you see play one role and you hate them forever. I hated him in Ghost, but he is great here. But the standout is most definitely, and I can't believe I'm even saying this, Gerard Butler. Now, I don't like this guy. I'm sorry. I really feel like he is such a boring actor. Just pretty much does the same stuff, and I feel like he's terrible at picking movies. I'm sorry. But he really hasn't done anything that I really actually liked or enjoyed outside of 300 and Law Abiding Citizen. I really be feeling like he is terrible at picking movies. But my God, this man truly carries this movie. The perfect, everyday man turned hero in an unexpected situation. Very charismatic and super easy to root for. Such a freaking top-notch performance he gives her. I mean, this man just oozed talent in this role. I said I was here for Mike Coulter before seeing the movie, but man, Gerard Butler stole the entire freaking show. Every scene, he is just the automatic focus. Like I said, hats off to the entire cast, but Gerard Butler is the standout, and just the character he plays is a great character. He has a charm and sense of humor. I love the way he interacted with the flight crew. His genuine care and concern was endearing without being cheesy or overboard or overdone. When we find out a little backstory of him punching a belligerent passenger who assaulted a flight attendant, his relationship with his daughter, I mean, stuff like that, honestly, they could make this a little franchise. Brody Torrance is a character I would gladly follow in other stories. Maybe next time someone hijacks his plane and they don't know who they messing with. Or he's on vacation with his daughter and get caught up in something. Now, as the pilot, Butler's character is the main focus, but we have two heroes who step up here. Mike Colter plays a prisoner who is currently being escorted, but only one cop is escorting him, which I thought was crazy, but whatever. Now, this character is an interesting contrast to the pilot. Very loner, don't F with me vibes, a criminal, but they play really well off of each other. And as our two main heroes in the story, it is a really good contrast that works here, with Gerard being more brain and Colter being more brawn. Also, with the characters, the number one thing I love most about my action movies, even more than the hero, is the action movie bad guys. And Plane gives us some truly dangerous and terrifying bad guys. I mean, you believe these guys will freaking kill you. I feel like the best scenarios are when your villain is just as strong or stronger than your hero. I mean, you need a worthy adversary. You need a situation that feels almost impossible for your hero to get out of. And that is what we have here. The stakes need to feel real. And Plane has that going for it. It definitely felt like there were some real stakes here. First of all, the sheer amount of bad guys, but they are in a truly perilous situation. Anytime I watch movies like this, right, I love to just calculate what I would do in this situation. Child, I don't know what the hell I'd do here. I almost feel like there's nothing I could do in this situation. And the main villain here, the head honcho running things, child, he was giving me arch nemesis vibes. Truly diabolical. I'm scared of that guy. One of the biggest nods, though, has to go to the director. I love how he focused on the characters, their emotions and reactions. We are up close and personal and feel like we are in the midst of the action. We truly feel everything that the characters do. Now, I am not a fan of shaky cam. I say this all the time. Most times I really hate the handheld camera work. I mean, I get it, but personally, I'm just not a fan of it. However, I feel like it was utilized so well in the storytelling here. It really conveyed that frantic, up close and personal, feeling and this unease. I mean, I just will always hate a hard to make out, hard to see action sequence, but it really worked here. And I mean, it gave a sort of authentic feel to the movie. And it's been a few movies recently that actually did some good shaky cam. And normally I hate it. The handheld, the hand-to-hand fights and the shootouts really end up getting a visceral reaction from you. I also feel like leading into the ending, it felt very unpredictable, where it felt like you really had no idea where they were going to go with the story. I like certain elements they threw in to again make it feel more realistic as far as how the heck they were going to possibly survive this. And now for the bad, which honestly, guys, there really isn't much, but I will say there is a sequence with Gerard's daughter that made me roll my freaking eyes. As soon as it started, earlier in the movie, the daughter was needed to build and introduce Butler's character. Great, fine, no problems. But where we were in the story when this particular sequence with the daughter was presented felt very unnecessary for me. I get it and what they were doing in that moment, but it felt like they were really laying it on thick. But I will say it was short and sweet. They didn't drag it out, thank God. It didn't hinder, ruin my experience. There were also some interactions with the characters and Colter that felt really freaking asinine. I get the world we live in regarding how folks are with their cell phones and filming stuff, but come on now, child. Young girls Okay, but grown folk fooling around how they were in this made absolutely no sense. And also, it just felt like a way to again lay it on too thick regarding Coulter's character's attitude, especially given the fact that his reaction for me was completely justified and made the passengers look bad, not the prisoner. Another negative here is the fact that Plane does not consist of a single original or groundbreaking part at all. Every single thing here is very familiar. As much as I love the characters, we have seen them all before. We have seen these villains before. Honestly, though, not a huge knock because the execution was extremely top notch, like I said. Now, like I said, that third act sequence definitely gave you a feeling of being unpredictable because you had no idea. It felt like, you didn't know exactly where they were going to go at that point. We have seen this story and there are many different places they could have gone with it. And given that it was so formulaic and unoriginal, I was like feeling it was going to be unpredictable in the ending. As you're going along in that third act, you're not quite sure where they're going. And I thought they had a surprise and a twist up their sleeves. You don't know where they're going, but you can guess how it is going to end. And you would likely be correct even without watching the movie. There is really nothing very different here with this story. Very by the numbers. I mean, it just is. Also, for an action thriller, there isn't much actual action. We have a few shootouts, some hand-to-hand combat, but for a movie that is a little over an hour and a half, I feel like we should have gotten at least a few more action sequences. They do give us a big final showdown action sequence in the third act that we build to pretty well, but again, nothing very original or different or groundbreaking there, though it is elevated by the decisions of the director. There is a customer service person in the story, and it felt so unrealistic and moronic. Kind of like if you're a cop and you think someone is giving you a false report or whatever, but you still do your due diligence and you still investigate just in case it could be real. And now, for the ugly, the single thing that I hated the most about this movie. And I'll get more in depth regarding the ugly in my spoiler-filled final thoughts, but the freaking cop escorting Coulter. Y'all, in a long line of dumbass movie cops, he truly has got to be just about the absolute dumbest. There is a decision he makes that honestly, y'all, it irked me so bad. In its stupidity, it literally almost ruined my experience with this movie. It did. Not to mention, it was an extremely lazy way to set up the essential, motivation of Gerard working with Coulter. Ultimately, it felt like the cop was used, just as a plot device to just set all that up. But man, it was so freaking dumb and lazy. I mean, Mr. Writer, you couldn't think of another way. Like, you ain't have nothing else. Overall, though, Plane is a freaking insane, intense thrill ride, as they say. Perfectly paced, the adrenaline never stops pumping. If you enjoy those 90s type edge of your seat action thrillers, I think you will be in for a treat with this one. When I walked out of the theater, I said I wanted to give this a 6, but my mama said I was completely jumping out the window with that score. So I am going to give Plane a solid 5.5 out of 10. While it is a pretty generic story, Plane is a slightly above average, effective action thriller that fully immerses you in the experience. This is the most fun that I have had at the movies so far in 2023. Now, before I get into my spoiler-filled final thoughts, sign off here if you do not want any spoilers. Thank you so much for watching the video up until this point. Make sure you like, make sure you comment down below. Now, really, y'all, the only thing I really want to talk about for my final thoughts is that damn cop who was escorting Coulter. Now, the situation is the plane hit some like bad weather, right? A really bad storm causes turbulence. Everyone is told, stay buckled in, right? There is a feeling that the plane could possibly crash. A passenger even made it a point to mention how old the plane was when they first boarded. So look, you think the plane is about to crash, okay? You think you could possibly die. Got it. Now, the cop goes to send a text to someone, presumably a loved one, but he drops the cell phone. Please tell me why this fool proceeds to get the hell up out of his seat for the damn phone as the plane is shaking like somebody shaking a damn tambourine. Now, this is not only just an absolute dumb as hell character decision, but then the flight attendant yells at him to get back in his seat. And when he does not, she unbuckles herself and starts towards him. And that is really the icing on the cake that pissed me off so badly. Be an idiot, okay? Cause harm for yourself, whatever. But when you're an idiot and you end up getting someone else harmed, that truly irked my nerves. Of course, him and the flight attendant get knocked around and they both die. I was so freaking pissed. That lady did not need to die. She did not deserve to lose her life. I mean, I don't know why she got out of her seat. Like, baby, I'm going to just yell at you. But I'm not putting myself in danger by doing the exact thing that I'm telling you not to do. But what really takes the cake is the fact that not 60 seconds after this nigga gets up and gets old girl killed, we are out of the storm and the plane is stable. We're out of the turbulence. It's like, bruh, if you would have just sat there for one more minute, you would have seen that you were just fine. But really, it was extremely lazy of the writers to get this character to do something that freaking dumb just to set it up for the pilot to have to work with the prisoner. Because, I mean, really, that's why they did it. This is one of those rare movies where there isn't that one character that everybody hates. They have one guy who is a bit obnoxious and plays into that, but honestly, he really ain't that bad. Like, they usually play it up a lot and lay it real thick with that one, like, obnoxious character when you got a group disaster. This was such a great ensemble. I even love the team that comes in to save everyone. I was literally clenching my teeth like, please don't let these boys die. The little team that come in to save us. Guys, did y'all enjoy playing as much as I did? Or did you not enjoy it at all? Let's talk about it in the comments. Share your thoughts. As always, thank you so much for supporting the channel. I will see you in the next one.